All right. All right, hello and welcome to the May 25th neighborhood meeting for the Redmond Flex Development Agreement, Master Plan, and Site Plan Entitlement. The project number is LAND 2021-00474 and LAND 2021-00475. My name is Cameron Zapata. I'm a senior planner at the City of Redmond, and I'm part of the city review team reviewing this project for code compliance. I'll be facilitating tonight's meeting and fielding any questions from meeting attendees. And then at the end of presentations, that's when we'll open it up for questions. Tonight, we're hosting the neighborhood meeting virtually, and this meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the project webpage for anyone who was unable to attend this meeting. And if you were unable to attend this meeting, please send any questions, comments, or concerns to me, and I can be reached at 425-556-2411 or czapata@redmond.gov. And this is also shown at the end of the presentation on the project webpage, as well as the notice of application. So here's an overview of what I will be presenting. We're here today to talk about the Redmond Flex Master Plan Development Agreement and Site Plan Entitlement. So I'll be going over the Type 5 permit process more, and then I'll hand it over to the applicant team to speak more to the project itself. We'll get started with a round of introductions. Again, I'm Cameron Zapata, Senior Planner with the City of Redmond, and I'm joined by our city review staff. We have Minlo in transportation, Abe Santos in stormwater, and Hiba Awad in utilities. And Emily, if you'd like to introduce your team.
Sure, thanks. Hi, I'm Emily Evenson. I'm the project architect and I work for Weber Thompson. And today we have with us two folks from CORE, which is our civil and landscape group. And Gary and Sue, if you'd like to just introduce yourself really quick, that'd be great.
I'm Gary Schomburg. I'm the civil engineer on the project.
I'm Wenqing Su. I'm the landscape architect on the project.
And then we also have Avenue 55, the ownership development group. Sam and Drew, would you like to say hello as well?
Yeah, hi, this is Drew, Senior Development Manager for Avenue 55.
And Sam Blattner, Investment Manager for Avenue 55 as well.
And I think that's it for our team today, Cameron.
All right, thanks, Emily. Here's just a site plan of the project, which Emily and her team will go further in depth once this presentation has concluded. And we'll first jump into what is a master plan. It's usually for larger project sites, at least 3 acres in size. It's used if development occurs in phases. It also provides clarity for the city and the applicant by setting long-term conditions. And it benefits from long-term planning if it's a complex site. And a development agreement, it's a contract between the city and the developer, which details out the obligations of both parties. And it specifies standards and conditions that govern that development. It's also used as a vesting tool for development regulations, has a lifespan of 20 years, and it's required to provide a public benefit. So where is the project at right now? Here I have included a flow chart where the process or where the project is at in the process. And you can see in the process that the in-process steps are shown in white, and then public participation is encouraged. It's shown outlined in blue. Future steps are shown in yellow, and then completed steps are shown in gray. And as I mentioned before, this is a development agreement, site plan entitlement, and master plan, and it's a type 5 permit. And the project permit was submitted formally, this first step here, and city staff is in the process of reviewing the project for compliance. and the disciplines that are involved are fire, transportation, utilities, stormwater, and planning. The notice of application was mailed out and posted on May 4th to the project site, and that starts the public comment period. And you should have seen the yellow notice board and received mailings if you're either an interested party or you're located within 500 feet of the project site. The project then went to Design Review Board on May 5th of this year, where the Design Review Board recommended approval to City Council for the project. And then next, you should receive the SEPA determination in the near future. And the SEPA determination notice includes a comment period and an appeal period. And this is another opportunity to provide feedback on the project. The neighborhood meeting, the notice of application, and the SEPA determination notice are great opportunities to share your thoughts, concerns, or questions on the project. After the project's been reviewed formally and is considered code compliant by the reviewers, the project will then go through an internal technical committee meeting for their recommendation to the City Council. The technical committee is comprised of the planning director and the public works director. If recommended approval, the project will be scheduled for a public hearing with the City Council, which is another time where comments can be submitted. And from there, if the City Council is comfortable enough with the project to make a decision, it'll then go back to the City Council for their final decision. After a decision has been made by the City Council, the project can then be appealed within 21 days of the decision to the King County Superior Court. And so that's the process for a Type 5 permit, which is the development agreement, master plan, and site plan entitlement. And here's our contact information. Again, I'll display this at the end of the meeting, and then it's also included on the project webpage, as well as the notice of application that you received. And so I'll now hand it off to Emily to talk about the project.
Thanks, Cameron. Get my screen share going. I'm going to assume you can see this unless I hear otherwise.
I can see it.
Great. So thanks for being here tonight to talk over the Redmond Flex project with us for this neighborhood meeting. So just really quickly, we wanted to run through our development goals. So we're planning for approximately 145,000 square feet of manufacturing and wholesale trade, which will include some accessory uses as well. We'll have approximately 1,000 square feet of commercial or retail use along 188th Avenue Northeast. We'll be providing approximately 240 surface parking spaces, some with EV charging. We will have truck loading docks for industrial deliveries and service access. There'll be public plaza, food truck, and pocket park spaces as a public amenity in the NC1 zone, which is along 188th. And a goal is to shield the residences and the park from the building's non-compatible uses. So this is the same site plan that Cameron showed earlier, just to give you a sense of where we've organized our uses. On the left side of your screen here is 188th Avenue Northeast. This is a pretty big street and is existing. At the top of our site, Northeast 70th Street, this is a road that is currently in process, and that's being built by a different project that needs it for access. And then also on the right hand of the screen here is 192nd Avenue, and it is also in process of being built and will be serving the new projects to the east of us. So you can see here, we have concentrated our more public uses along 188th Avenue. So we'll have some public open green spaces, a food truck space, plaza space for hanging out, sitting, enjoying the weather. And that also ties in with our entry lobby for the main building, and then also a retail space that gets to use a bit of the landscape as well. The middle part of the site here is dedicated mostly to the manufacturing and wholesale trade. And we've really pushed this up towards Northeast 70th Street to give breathing room to Southeast Redmond Park to the south, and also the future residential developments that will be going in at the east. This is a little bit of a more developed plan showing our landscaping. Something we're really excited about is the amount of trees and greenery that we've been able to include around the edges of the site, and also in the NC1 zone to make that a really open and extension of Southeast Redmond Park. This is a small blow up of that more public area in the NC1 zone along 188th Avenue. So you can get a better sense of the types of furnishings, the types of landscaping design moves that we're using to break up the site, and the different types of paving we'll be using for ways for pedestrians to circulate around this area. We also wanted to call attention to the landscape buffers that we'll be providing around the majority of the edges of the site. This specific section goes through 192nd. And so what you're seeing here in the more saturated is our building site with the plants that we'll be providing. And this top image is how big the plants will be at their installation. So they're a little small, but you can see at the 20-ish year, 20 to 30 year mark, how lush and green this will be and how wonderful of a buffer that will be. Next, I want to talk a little bit more about the building and the look of it, the design. And so these are the materials we'll be using. And I'm not going to go into great detail about this, but when you see these different colors come up in the renderings, you'll have a better idea of what we're talking about. So the gray will be different forms of concrete, finishes and forms. We have blue metal panels. We also have a bright silver finish metal siding and storefronts and louvers with some really nice accents of wood at our pedestrian locations around the site. This is the view from 188th Avenue Northeast, looking towards this one-story NC1 portion of the building, so you can get a feel for how welcoming that will be off of the main thoroughfare. This is a bit of a close-up view of that same area to show you the quality of the main entry to the manufacturing and wholesale part of the building. This is the lobby. And then this part here, the 2/3 on the right, are showing what the retail space would look like and the opportunities there for light and views and the outside space here on the right. Moving around the site, this is the main automobile entry to the site, which will include signage and lush plantings and the view of the NC1 zone. And this is also another view. This is from the corner of 188th Avenue and Northeast 70th Street. So you'll be able to get a nice view of the building in the back, but also enjoy the lush planting and the beginnings of the small plaza spaces. Walking further around the building, this is our loading zone that we've treated really carefully to make it a welcoming and exciting corner and not seem so back of house. And you can see here our pedestrian entry that's separated from our drive aisle, and also get a hint at what that landscaping will feel like. And then this finally is our pedestrian entry that's on the east side of the site. And I wanted to show this because it gives a good idea of the planting edge that I showed earlier in the slide, that buffer, and the peekaboo view of the building that we will be seeing beyond. And as you take that pathway further into the site, this is a secondary lobby entry that will also be serving the building. And that was it for my short presentation on the project. Excited to hear what the questions are.
Thanks, Emily. All right, so it appears that we don't have any participants at this time. So the meeting is therefore closed. Public comments that are related to this neighborhood meeting will be accepted. And so if you wish to provide any comments about this project, but were unable to attend this virtual meeting, please do reach out to me, Cameron Zapata. My contact information is listed here, and I will accept phone calls or emails with any of your comments or concerns. With that, that concludes this meeting. Thank you all for joining. I really appreciate your time, and have a good evening.
Thanks, Cameron.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Cameron.
Thank you, anyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.